Hello again, you wonderful lot. I just doing a little bit more work to the car, nothing really fantastic. It's a bit hard to see with the sun, but I finally got all the engine bay all painted up and tarted up and whatnot, so that's looking a lot better. A little bit dusty there, it just needs a bit of cleaning. Got the wiring loom all neatened up and tucked away as best as I can. The only real bit of the loom you're going to see is this bit here, which is the alternator charging cable, which obviously goes around to the fuse box there. That's obviously going to get covered up, and if you've got an SC400 Soarer, you all know that you've got this horrible black plastic conduit that goes up, and that is now gone. It's all been relocated to underneath the fender wing, whatever you call it, from whatever part of the world you're from, and I am just slowly putting everything back together for the final fit. As I say, I've got one of these cheap eBay vacuum manifolds. As I don't know if I previously mentioned it, but one thing I did notice when running obviously pressure on these engines, that a lot of these old fittings were popping off under pressure. So this one was just like a little nipple that fed to the original regulator. So what I've done was I drilled and tapped it and just put some thread seal and a little O-ring washer and a bolt in there. I've got to do the same to this one. This one was for the power steering idle up, for when for idling up the engine when your power steering goes, but I've deleted that, so I won't need that, so I'll put another one in now. There's a one big one at the back, which is obviously for your brake servo, like power brakes, which you need to leave in obviously, but there is another little one that was there along the back that I've drilled and tapped out and done the same as what I've done here. And what I've done is I've actually used the port that was for the crankcase breather, and you can slightly see it there. Now in hindsight, I wish I never cut out and drilled it out and tapped it, because I could have just used the original one and just put a hose on there, brought it up back round and obviously into this intake, this vacuum manifold. It does the job, everything's all sealed in. I've got a thread seal, as you may not be able to see on there. The camera's not focusing, but you can see the slight red, which is the thread seal along there. Obviously the two main ends have got O-rings. For an eBay part, the only thing I say you need to do is just give it a wash and a clean out, get rid of the swarf and the filings and whatnot where they machined it. Other than that, all looking good so far. So I've got that, I've got my rising rate fuel pressure regulator on there. I'm waiting for a gauge, 1.8 MPT gauge, just to go on there so I can set that to see where it goes, and just getting all the vac lines plumbed in, finished off. Another thing I will say is get yourself some of these little spring clips just for peace of mind, because I have blown off a couple of the little vacuum lines and that under pressure. Yeah, you can have your bike outside. And the other thing is that anything that doesn't want pressure going through it, for example, you know, this here, you may or may not have one of these depending on what type of Soarer you have, or the heating system. This is actually the vacuum controlled valve for the heating inside the car, and obviously that's just this vacuum pipe runs into it and obviously allows suction to go through it to pull this open to obviously adjust the water going through your heater core, and it's obviously controlled by the wires there and whatnot. But they have got them, but just in case, you need a check valve, one-way check valve on there, so obviously vacuum goes through it but pressure won't. and also your brake master cylinder servo or power brake, it should have one on it, but if not, you need to put one in. Other than that, I am just buttoning up and finishing off everything that I need to do, just putting everything back together and whatnot. So yeah, I'll see you shortly when I have a bit more put on. Right, so that's the intercooler back in. Obviously I think in previous videos I showed you the brackets and how I mounted that. It's just a long bar that goes down with some legs just to support the bottom. And I've started waxing everything ready for the bad weather to come and whatnot and everything. And talking about bad weather, I just want to shout out to anyone who watches this, if they're in the Florida area, you know, and affected by that poxy hurricane, you know, that my thoughts are with you, and I hope you're all safe, and that if you're like me and your pride and joy is your life, that it hasn't been too bad and hasn't been affected too bad. But yeah, just to say our thoughts are with you and our prayers. So yeah, anyway, back to this. I'm getting a bit emotional now, you know. Right, anyway, so yeah, just slowly putting it together. I'm going to get my intercooler pipes all back in now and get that plumbed in and get that all waxed up, and we'll go from there. Okay, so this is the intercooler piping and everything nearly back together. Once I get this clamp in the right place, that's got to be tightened up there. And obviously it runs round and down through there, around there, into there, and same this side, through there, up and to there. So that's all nearly plumbed in for the intercooler side. So now it be the water coolant side. Right, so the heavens have decided to open up and it's now pissing down with rain, so I'm going to call it a day for the day. But yeah, nearly there. Just need to plumb the radiator back in and tidy up all the fine little bits and pieces, wire up all my ABS relays and whatnot, and then that should be good. But for now I'm packing up shop because I'm getting soaked. But thanks for watching, guys. I'll give you another update soon. Thank you. So before I wrap things up, I got a comment again, I can't remember who, and my apologies, I can't remember your name, but I hope this helps. The thread size for these banjos, right, as you can see, I've actually used the original banjo and used it as a bolt, and obviously there's a spacer down the back there, a bit rusty, but there is a spacer there. And this one, I do remember I couldn't get the right thread pitch. It is some foreign unknown one, and if you do know what it is, you can let me know, because I spent hours online and with gauges trying to find out what thread it was, but had no luck. So what I ended up doing, there is actually nothing behind this part here. It's literally just a cavity, so if need be you can just drill straight through that and then thread this back part, because there's quite a bit of meat on the back there. You're probably looking at the thickness of the actual bracket plate here at the back, because the thread only comes up to here. You can actually drill through and thread that and just put a long bolt through there with a spacer again into that fresh bit, and that should see you good. What I ended up doing was just tapping it out with I think it's a oh god, memory's getting bad in my old age. It's an M20 by 2mm thread pitch that I ended up drilling and threading through, and just had this bolt lying around. I may change it in the future, but that'll do for the time being. So that's holding that up, so it's plenty strong, it's not going to move, you know. Overall it's solid. That turbocharger's not going anywhere, so you haven't got to worry about obviously the splitting, cracking of the pipes and whatnot, or the manifold and the front manifold pipe taking all the weight of the turbocharger, so that's helped out a bit. I hope this helps. I know unfortunately it's not I'd like to know what the thread is myself, but like I say, the smaller one, the smaller bolt, I used the original banjo, absolutely fine. This one I ended up tapping out for a bolt that I had, which was, like I say, M20 by 2, something like that. So yeah, hope that helps, and there you go. Alright then guys, well the weather cleared up a little bit, so I'll manage to get a bit more done. I am pretty much there now. I've just got to finalise the exhaust, and apologies for my funny bonnet hood stay, but for some reason my gas struts have gone out, and it went out after I sprayed the engine bay, so I don't know if I got a bit of overspray on there and it's let the gas out, or I'm not sure, but anyway, I'll have to change them out. But yeah, no, we're pretty much there. I've got me headlights to do, which I've got pulled apart at the moment. I'll do a little video on that, and I'll show you what I'm doing with them. And I've got all me little aluminium bits that I made done. I haven't got that one that goes in this corner done yet, because I've got to do a bit of wiring over there. But other than that, she's not looking too shabby. So next thing, is it? Oh, you broke it already? Oh, I'll have to fix it in a minute. So yeah, pretty much there though. So after the exhaust, it will be I'm waiting for some new red washers. In a minute I will. And after the exhaust is done, I'll start making a strut brace to go over the top, because my original one unfortunately is no good. So anyone want a strut brace, let me know. Right, I'm going to call it a day. Thanks for watching guys and girls, and I'll catch up with you soon.